Hurricane Isaias is here. I'm Mike Naso with a morning tropical update on this Friday morning. It's 5 a.m. as I record this, and if you've been sleeping like a normal person, boy do I have some news for you. Our moderate strength tropical storm north of Hispaniola, the Air Force flew out there around midnight and found winds at flight level over 100 miles an hour. Clearly a hurricane, a solid Category 1, and we have the second hurricane of the year, Hurricane Isaias. Here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center as of 5 a.m. Eastern Time. The hurricane was at 20.9 north, 73.3 west. Winds were 80 miles per hour, so it's a bona fide Category 1 hurricane. It's moving northwest at 17, so that's slower. It's been trying to slow down, and that is expected to continue over the next couple of days. And that pressure's about 990 millibars, still pretty high for a hurricane, but it's dropping. And the forecast here does have it becoming a Category 2 hurricane as it nears Andros Island in the Bahamas. And that would be sometime Friday night, early Saturday. And then after that, a slow move very close to the Florida coast, and then a turn to the north, and then eventually a move northeast. But again, it could be on the left edge of this cone, more over southeast Florida. It could take the right edge over the Abacos Islands, which do not need it after Hurricane Dorian last year, and go out to sea. Right now, it looks like somewhere in the middle, which is anywhere from Cape Canaveral all the way up the coastline. You guys need to be prepared for a possible landfall from a hurricane. Now, I did want to go down the watches and warnings because we have a lot of them. We have a hurricane warning for the Northwest Bahamas. That includes Andros Island, New Providence, Eleuthera, Abacos Islands, Berry Islands, Grand Bahama Island, and Bimini. We have a hurricane warning for the Southeast Bahamas, including the Acklins, Crooked Island, Long Cay, the Inaguas, as well as the Ragged Islands. And then the Central Bahamas are under a hurricane warning. That's Cat Island, the Exumas, Long Island, Rum Cay, and San Salvador. We also have that tropical storm warning still for the Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall and gusty winds, and the north coast of Haiti, as well as the Turks and the Caicos Islands. And we have a tropical storm watch in effect from the east coast of Florida, from Ocean Reef to Sebastian Inlet, and that includes Lake Okeechobee. Lake Okeechobee is under a tropical storm watch. All of these will likely be upgraded to tropical storm warnings, hurricane watches, as the hurricane moves closer and closer. Again, a track like that anticipated is going to bring it very close. Remember Dorian last year, how close it got? Same type of deal. But of course, this is going to be a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. It looks like Dorian was a Category 5, so there's a big difference. Nevertheless, these islands here, Grand Bahama Island and Abacos, they're still just battered and bruised from Labor Day of last year with their Category 5 landfall of Dorian. Here's the latest infrared satellite imagery of Hurricane Isaias, and you can see it looks like a set of headphones actually there. It's got a weird shape to it, but nevertheless it is strengthening. We have the weird shape because there's a lot of thunderstorms here over the Dominican Republic. And that is a problem because that's dropping copious amounts of rain. You've seen some of those pictures out of there, the flooding. Very bad news. The center of the hurricane is right here, and it's nearing Great Inagua Island, and that's going to then move over open water, it looks like, generally towards Andros Island here. This is Grand Bahama. This is Abacos. And this is Eleuthera. And Eleuthera was where Hurricane Andrew moved over on its way to South Florida back in '92. Clearly, I'm seeing some signs of this getting a little sheared here. It looks a little flat. I'm not that impressed with this western side. However, the core of the hurricane is right in there, that white circle, and so it's still a little protected, but I'd like to see a little less of this shear for more dramatic intensification. See this arcing cloud here moving away. That's not that favorable right now. So it isn't in a perfect ideal environment for strengthening, but nevertheless it's strengthened enough to where a Category 2 hurricane by Andros Island in the central Bahamas cannot be ruled out and is currently forecast. Rainfall is going to be a major threat with this hurricane. You can see 6 to 10 inches along the track. That's right up through the Turks, Caicos, central Bahamas, northwestern Bahamas, and then notice this dump of rain here off the Florida coast. That's because Isaias is expected to slow down a bit as it kind of begins that northward turn, and then we'll see that heavy rain, at least 4 to 6 inches right now, head towards the Carolinas. So if you were thinking that by Monday it was going to be a beautiful day up here in Myrtle Beach or in, Cape Lookout, Wilmington, Morehead City, sorry guys, it's not going to be. It's going to be sloshy, crashing waves, a hurricane. I mean, that's what you got headed your way. The computer models, the GFS is much faster than your European model. The GFS brings it right up. The European model is going slower, which would prolong rainfall. You can see most of them are in generally good agreement up towards Florida, but still a lot of models are over Florida or South Carolina, so it's too soon to rule out a direct landfall in the state of Florida, so that's why we have those tropical storm watches, and that's why you need to be overlooking your hurricane plans. Like we said all year, it's going to be a busy year, and boy, has it been. We had a hurricane hit Texas last week. Looks like we're going to have one hit the East Coast this week. Crazy. And this is all before August. This is the European ensembles. You could see a lot of them take it over Florida, but it's much slower. That'd be a lot of heavy rainfall. Some do slam it, of course, right into the Carolinas. Nevertheless, you can see anywhere from the Keys all the way to Cape Hatteras right now with the European model. So it's anybody's guess. And with the unique angle of the coastline, we could have a weird one that kind of straddles the coast, much like Hurricane Dorian did last year. Remember, Dorian did make landfall on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, but the devastation was in Abaco Island as a Category 5. Now, I mentioned that wind shear. This map kind of shows that you can see favorable environment here to the south of the hurricane, and that's the clockwise flow that goes around the counterclockwise circulation. Well, look at it, it's undercutting our hurricane a bit, and that's why it looked flat on that western side. So it doesn't have an ideal environment. However, there's a little safe harbor here it'll get in the Bahamas, and if it's coiled enough, it should be able to strengthen. But again, right now they're not forecasting a major hurricane, which would be a Category 3, 4, or 5. Again, right now we're 80 miles an hour, so we're a decent Category 1 hurricane, and that's some damage, but it is forecast to reach 100 miles an hour, which is getting a little more extensive. So it is forecast to strengthen. Of course, a major hurricane is anything Category 3 or higher. Right now, we are not expecting Isaias to reach that, but hey, it was a moderate tropical storm 12 hours ago. Now it's an 80-mile-an-hour hurricane. So always be prepared for one category higher. Right now, definitely a Cat 1 or Cat 2 for the central Bahamas. You guys need to be ready big time. There's the satellite imagery, and you can see it sputtered a bit. It was looking organized, then it kind of looked a little weaker, and now it's starting to burst again. But right there is Great Inagua Island, and some of these islands have very low populations. They have more bonefish than people, but I'll tell you right now, it's still going to pack a wallop. Turks, Caicos, you can see that direction is moving northwest. It does appear to be slowing down a little, but that's not good news if those heavy rains continue over Hispaniola, because we could have some serious flooding problems, and we do not need that. Here's a map of the area here. You can see some locations. Puerto Plata there, they had a lot of gusty winds yesterday as the hurricane, tropical storm at the time, moved over. There's the Inagua Islands there, and you can see it's expected to move near Crooked Island, the Acklins, a little bit south of there, south of Long Island, generally towards Andros Island, Nassau. These areas here are going to be in the line of attack, and that's when the hurricane's expected to be at its peak intensity. And so we're going to watch it, and then obviously here on the east coast of Florida as well. Key messages: number 1, heavy rains, potential flash flooding, mudslides for the Dominican, Haiti, Turks, Caicos, Bahamas, and that's going to begin to affect Florida late Friday night, and maybe the Carolinas by early next week. Flash urban flooding, especially in low-lying areas. Number 2, hurricane conditions and dangerous surge expected in the Bahamas today and Saturday, and hurricane warnings are in effect. The tropical storm conditions may begin to affect South Florida beginning late tonight, and we could have some flooding. And number 4, there is that risk of impacts from winds and rains from Hurricane Isaias later this week from the northeast Florida coast all the way up the east coast. But the details of the track and intensity remain uncertain, and it is too soon to determine the magnitude and exact locations of those impacts. Nevertheless, anybody on the East Coast needs to be on the alert because we have a hurricane nearing the southern areas of the Bahamas, strengthening, headed in the direction of the southeastern United States. Hurricane Isaias. We'll keep an eye on it here. I'm Mike Naso, and I'll see you guys next time.